Good evening. Welcome to the Siddhaveda webinar series. Today we have an important topic, and the speaker is the Vedacharya, Dr. Dhanada Kulkarni. Vedacharya, Dr. Kulkarni, as a BAMS, Bachelor of Ayurveda Medicine and Surgery, Masters in Alternative Medicine, internationally renowned Ayurvedic physician and yoga therapist, specialist and expert, licensed massage therapist, BA Vedanga Jyotish, diploma in Vastu Shastra, board certified in American Alternative Medicine, AMA, board certified in American Integrative Medicine, BCIM from AAIM, pre-postnatal exercise specialist, AFPA from USA, and she has been actively promoting Ayurveda and other ancient Indian sciences at various forums in the US over the past 20 years. She serves on the board of directors of NAMA, National Ayurvedic Medical Association, and served as board on several organizations in the past, such as the APNA, Association of Ayurvedic Physicians of North America, CAC. She has been on the faculty of many Ayurvedic and yoga organizations, universities and colleges. She has been an international keynote speaker, presenter, and integrated medicine panel expert. And she has featured talks in EPC Radio, Zindagi, Asia TV, etc. She is founder of Astanga Ayurveda and Panchakarma Wellness Center in Dallas. Vedic astrologer and Vedic consultant, a Yajurvedic Brahmin by tradition or knowledge of Vedic astrology and Vastu inherited from DNA for Vedic Brahmin family. So we welcome Dr. Kulkarni. So she is, I know her for the past at least maybe more than, I think, 7-8 years now. And she's doing some wonderful work, and I'm very passionate. So I now request Dr. Kulkarni to go take it forward.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. It was very nice. And thank you, all of you. So I would like to share
Can
my
everybody
screen.
hear this? There are conversation, if you can.
Yes, Dr. Shan, yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah. I'm going to share my screen. It was kind of a last minute to do something. Okay. So namaste everyone. We are here to learn the tools and techniques of Sattva Vajay and Daive Vyapashre, which in Ayurveda is a psychotherapy as well as non-pharmacological approaches. So I would like to take your attention and start with a classical story of depression, anxiety, you can call it as PTSD, where there are a lot of evidence we will find into these new modern symptoms, ancient scriptures explaining. Even before Ayurveda era, there was a lot of stories, and you all must be aware of these, when the Arjuna was not ready to do the whole Mahabharata war, and he was into Vishad Yoga, that is a Vishad Bhagavad Gita's one of the chapter that is called Vishad Yoga. And that Vishad Yoga is nothing but all of the mental symptoms that today we in the modern psychotherapy experience, which is all about anxiety, PTSD, depression, all of the low feelings, suicidal tendencies, and whatsoever. So Lord Krishna was the one who actually first invented into Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa, which today is a very famous psychotherapy, cognitive reviews all over the research community. And then there is another story we all know to present with all of these tools. There was a character changing from Narada to a Valmiki, who was nothing but a just decot and wandering into the forest. We all know this story. How he became the sage Valmiki and put forth his whole character into Sattvic author, and he also became the one of the famous poet all over the world to write about so many scriptures as well. So you all will agree with me that this is not just a 1 day or a 2 day therapy or tools or techniques that we present on the modern era, especially where we are experiencing this pandemic and everybody is at home and have all of the things being said coming. We are now not able to really get onto the personal boundaries as we are learning everything, taking every profession and the emotional and mental, try to justice together as a families, relationships. And this has become a really new pandemic problem, and that is why Ayurveda and Siddha medicine has so much to offer in this era. So going forward, I would like to tell you in Ayurveda, Chakrapani and Charakas has a Trivida Aushadhi given, Daive Vyapashre, Yukti Vyapashre, Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa. And these psychosomatic disorders, while giving the idea about the new modern non-pharmacological approach and management, there are 5 things we could do. Daive Vyapashre Chikitsa is a divine therapy. There's a Mani, Mantra, Ganda, Graha, and all other tools are available. Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa is a psycho-behavioral therapy. That's where we have Achar Rasayan and more kind of a behavioral therapy explained in the granthas. Then there is a Pathya, which is today we are mainly emphasizing through the natural medicine regarding your diet and behavioral conducts. What is this pandemic and WHO today is giving? If you open a WHO site, it will give you wash your hands, keep 6 feet distance, keep the things separated from your home, what you're using outside in your cars. So all of these is nothing but behavioral conducts that has been prescribed us in our culture to our DNA for a long time. And that might be the reason we are getting easier on this pandemic, because we are already able to practice those into our houses and households. Then there is a Rasayan Chikitsa. Ayurveda's very famous Chikitsa is a Rasayan Chikitsa, which is a Achar Rasayan, and that regenerates all these measures. So Achar Rasayan is one of the very famously accepted branch of Ayurveda, not from the ancient type, but in today's era also. And we will see more on that. And last but not least, yoga therapy, doing asanas, pranayam, breathing exercises, meditation, that also helps. So to give you the actual reference to Sattva Vajaya is actually Charaka's 11th Adhyay, and says that all of the Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa can be used for the control of the mind and the harmful objects. So when we are saying harmful objects, the objects where it is given in the modern era today with the addictions, with the collaborative understandings of ADHD in young children's focus, and moreover, all of these harmful objects, that is a mind-boggling for the young minds is available. Harmful objects is also included into today's digital world. We could not forget how linked we are to our social medias and to our webs, and how much we are also experiencing that. And in modern era, I want to emphasize that our harmful objects are our digital era, how we are using them. That is also needs to be controlled by this Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsa. Then we have scope of Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsa and what are the classical concepts. The objective of Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsa is to balance not only your physical alignments, but doshas, agnis, dhatus, and we all know the definition of the health. And now this health definition is being accepted by WHO also 20 decades ago. So Ayurveda is saying that Indriya Atma Sanyogaha. Indriya and Atma, your Indriyas, your sensual organs, your Atma and your Man. So Man is a mind. Basically, it is called as Ubhayendriya. Ubhayendriya, it acts as your perspective and sensual organ at the same time. And that is why Asatma Indriya Sanyoga, where your objects and your sensory organs, whereas your perspective organs are not meeting at one point. That is a Pragyaparad. So Charaka wants to give this classical concept to bring the balance into your body, mind, and heart, and as well as the situations around you. Not only just so environmental difficulties or pandemic kind of situations also can be handled with these tools. So what are the dimensions of the Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsa? It is clearly known that Artha and Ahita, the definition of controlling the mind, Mano Nigraha in Charaka is about your objects of the mind, which is being controlled by Chitya, Vicharyam, Uhyam, Dheyam, Sankalpam, and object of senses is vision, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. And what are the Hina Yoga, Mithya Yoga, and Ati Yoga does? So the Indriya Atma Sanyog is actually the understanding of Samprapti or pathophysiology towards happening any mental disorder. Why any mental psychological disabilities get formed is because of this uncontrolled and unwholesome object sanyoga. And that is exactly if you take a detailed look into any mental health in today's era, you will find there is a very big disconnect in between these two, and the definition comes along such a fulfillment. So senses, what do you do is the mental experiencing from your sensual experience. I'll give you a very simple practical example is when somebody is watching late night movie, for an example, that is a overuse, ati yoga or ati improper indulgence of your senses. And that too, when your intellect is telling you not to eat popcorn at that time, or not to eat ice cream, or not to eat the vata related or provoking food late night, that is your senses, which is your pragya, which is your intellect. So your intellect is actually signaling you to get away from doing the aparad, which is a conduct for your senses to overdo. And what has happened, that is making away, the cognitive power makes you go away from that aparad, versus the other sense organs try to bring you back towards the mental experiencing or relaxation. So it's like a fear, as I'm explaining here. So at the end of the day, Charaka says Pragya Parad is the root cause of any disease happening. So if you are taking it in today's era, the intellectual mistake that a human being doing is actually the mental experiencing into all these eras. So what are these dimension? What are these tools? How we can use it? So the 5 thumb rules as given in Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa is a Jnana, okay, insight oriented approach. Then Vijnana, educative approach. Dharinya, the supportive approach. And Smriti, cognitive approach. And then Samadhi, which is a psychophilosophical approach. And this can be done on the yogic level as well as starting any age, even starting a very early age like a 10 or 5. You can start the insight orientation. You can educate that people about their own disease. Unless they understand their approach towards their body, the body will not accept the whole healing process. So they say that any healing process first start into the mind, and then it starts healing to your body. And that is why these approaches that is been written is actually we see into everyday practice coming true. Then there is a supportive approach. There is a lot of counseling needed for any of the mental disorders that we want to use. Even taking just a smaller example of anxiety, if you have a support from your community, from your family, from your friends, if you have somebody to talk with, that becomes a very good tool in Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa. And that exactly has given in the older stories. Lord Krishna did the support to Arjuna, or Narada came in and became savior for Valmika. And in today's world, we are the actually savior, because we understand the way we understand the knowledge on the face of modern pandemic. We need to become those healthcare saviors for many people that they are in need of this counseling of Sattva Vajaya or psychotherapy. And then there is cognitive approach, giving a mantra or giving a tool, or making them recite some very powerful syllables like Om, or also the cognitive approach happens towards the teaching Panchakosha meditation, being aware of their own buddhi, atma, and man, and how that perception comes to them while they are intaking some food, or they're doing any wrong dinacharya into their life, is all their cognitive approach. And of course, the psychophilosophical approach, where we are asking them to be in the present moment. Samadhi is nothing but everyday's present moment experiencing, reliving the past memories, and not to worrying in future is actually the daily samadhi you can practice. And that is a Sattva Vajaya tool as well. And it has a different Sanskrit names as a process, but the circle comes to the one as a tool. Then how this comes into yoga? So in the Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa, as you all know, yoga is a sister science for Ayurveda. And this has been exactly explained in Gherad Samhita and Patanjali Yoga Sutras about dhyan, yama, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dhyan, dharana, samadhi. And what does all of these yoga, Ashtanga yoga has been given is to, if you practice them regularly on the Panchakoshas, the 5 levels of energy systems get affected, and it does develop in all of those levels: emotional, intellectual, which is a pranamay kosh, annamay kosh, jnanamay kosh, vijnanamay kosh, and the lastly the last one is a blissful, which is a anandamay kosh, and also the chakras. What are the different methods? In applied, many journals, you will find a great research done on this. The techniques of this, their definition, getting to know yourself, gyan about yourself, then what are the goals and what changes they have found. So I found in Indian Journal of Health Sciences that they used these tools on certain clinical levels, and they have improved. Their goal was to use these techniques as a Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsa, and their goal was to achieve what even today into the mental health, how we can give a bridge to bring out more advanced practices of counseling areas. So this has found into that. Then the impact that we are going to talk of Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsa on a clinical management. So clinical aspect has also been explained into the journal. They definitely used methodology where mano nigraha, as I was explaining you, to control the senses and their perceptions and the unwholesome thoughts into the balancing towards decreasing their uh, rajas and tamas. And this is what they found on a clinical aspect, that the people they have used these tools were able to open up to the world, to find out their self pure acceptance and see to their situation what they are going through as a spectator. And I think that proper control and with the guidance, they have found the best clinical results. So these are the clinical studies on Sattva-Vajaya Chikitsas, and most of them had done and their outcomes for your references. Many of those are very successfully done in the eras where it was explained n number of mental disorders. So as you could see, these are the research studies you could refer. And um, I tried to put together all of these experiments that they have done. The most important I found is clinical conditions where there is a premature ejaculation, obesity, kids, they bedwetting and nail biting, and depression. Uh, Even today, there are a lot of other clinical conditions that has able to inhibit with the tool of Dhidruti Smruti and the self-control and the Jnana and education track that I was telling. Then I went back to see what are the clinical references we have into Daiva Vyapashya Chikitsa as well. So there are a lot of actually in Ayurveda, there are a lot of Samhita based clinical references found, and most importantly, there starts amazingly, it starts when I studied, it starts from the conception. Actually, when the baby is born, we in fact the Charaka is saying here a mantra to be chanted before conception. So the Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa and Daiva Vyapashya Chikitsa need to be started before the to born a child, to bring out the best progony. Okay, so these are the Ayurasi is a mantra where it translates to the right conceptual sanskara, which is a garbha sanskara. And then during the labor, they have all of these classical references. After the birth, even cutting the umbilical cord, and then with the baby. What the newborn baby should be hearing first thing in his ears is Kshitijalam Kartikeyo Bhirakshatu. So the child should be blessed and given the best fulfilled life, and promising mother that the child will be
50 people who live in this house can watch.
Child will be really happy and well um, he- healthy child to be born. So not only prasuti, but and again that goes later on to the different diseases, like many psychosomatic diseases, unmada, apasmara. Even Visha Chikitsa has mantra prayog and Daive Vipashraya or Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa. In today's world, we might laugh that if there is a snake bite, how could you just stand still and chant a mantra and it will, the wish or the poison will go off. But this is imagine this is a very advanced type of a technology that we do not even know the brastics of how that energy level treatment is happening here. It is a way of connection to research in my mind, how the mantra chikitsa were used in advanced form at that time to even take the even take the wish out of the human body. And there are a lot of other Pittaj disorder and references has been found. I try to collect them all together. Even a small act of shodhana, where rakta shodhanas or any panchakarma procedures happening, it has been given that psychotherapy to the patients. It is written. So we come strongly for any of these treatments from the scriptures to the modern world. And if you could go to new kind of a psychotherapy manuals, you will see the Matrix movie. And when the situation comes to ask to through this movie, he will ask which pill you would take, free your mind, and then he finds a solution after taking the route to get to know the self. So this movie is fascinating. If anybody wants to explore and look and see the Matrix movie, which has best psychotherapy practical tool demonstrated that I am presenting today. So this is basically the humanistic psychology that is all built in into yourself. The chip that computer need, or the processor, or that intellect, that brain you need, is actually installed by the God into yourself. It's just how you look to yourself. You know, they always say mirror, mirror, look your self image. If you are looking yourself better, and that is the key Arjuna got from Lord Krishna, is Uddharet Atmanah Atmanam. That is one word he would say, that if you don't raise yourself, if you don't raise your awareness to yourself, you will not be able to find me in you, which is the universal truth that he is trying to say. And I think with this, I would open all the discussion for all of you. And if there is any questions, would love to take. Thank you.
Open for questions. You may unmute yourself and you can raise your hands. I can, one by one. Or you use the chat button. Please, Arshri, please go ahead.
Hi, Dhanada. खूपच छान presentation होतं, and I felt like asking what I typically feel in my mind is that Ayurveda is the key, but how do you see the scope of it how effective it is time wise, and sometimes we lose easily the trust kind of, if something is time consuming, right? Now everybody is going after ashwagandha, but when you demoed so many things today, it felt so good, and such a vast knowledge you have. I loved what you presented. And I would like to know if anything that can be cured if we stick to Ayurveda, which is much better than the allopathy, I believe.
I would say not anything. Everything can be cured with Ayurveda. See, I always give an example when people ask me this question, like how effective is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is not a callback science. It's a proven science with its principles, and it's not day 1 or 2. It's not patented by any humankind. It is a Paurusheya. That means it has brought to you by divine energy. The principles has been set up here by um, the divine rishis, the researchers. They were having the power to see to the end of the worlds, and especially to the Kali Yuga. And one of the most important part I always also emphasize is when it compares to the modern science or the Western science on the face with why it is so ancient, your science, and how you would put into the today's uh, world with the treatment. So just an example, if in the house you have a big wedding going on, and would you ask your children's, or would you ask newborn babies, or would you ask very unexperienced people how to perform all that, right? The wedding tradition is just an example. Or you would go to the oldest person and ask, hey, we need your guidance. What should be the process, how we should perform? It's just an example in your life. Okay, Ayurveda is 5,000-year-old brother of 500-year new science, Western science. It is never to make any sense that all called upon, or the established proven science that has been giving results for so many years. It is just the language that we speak is needs to be translated into the scientific world to understand how this need to be take and proven, for everybody's today's era. Like you saying, ashwagandha is everywhere, or people are practicing or asking more herbs now, but it is there for a long time, so there is no question that what it can do. It's an ocean, how many pearls you can take it from here? That's a question.
Okay, thank you.
So how do you find people can approach, there are so few doctors, Ayurveda doctors, and not many are known, right? Especially in this country. So
Yes, there are a lot of good resources. If you would like to connect with me, Dr. Shan, many of here, we can connect you in your city to the Vaidyas. And there is a lot of upcoming resources that I would love to share with you.
okay, thank you.
No worries.
Okay, anybody else have a question, comment? So there are a couple of comments. You can take a look at the comments. Thank you for sharing this knowledge by Anu. Are there any chanting for bringing peace and happiness in the family and community? And Jagdish says, thank you so much, Dr. Kulkarni. Thank you for taking time to gather and share your wisdom. Are there clinical research material open available to the public?
I can share that with the Dr. Shan, and he'll make you available that, definitely.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, there are a lot of mantras, Anu, for the happiness. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, or if you need any particular one for the peace, you can connect with me. I'll help you.
Okay. All right. So, any other questions, comments? It's a very good opportunity for you. So we have another 10-15 minutes, so you can interact if you particularly wanted to, not on a personal level you can contact later, but for general purpose, keep your questions very general. And
Yes, there is a mantra for the snake bite mentioned in scriptures, and over the period of time, the mantras got like lagged around. But Sushruta was the first father of surgery, and he mentioned some of these mantras. It's available in Sushrut Samhita, and I can make you available that, Monica. Overcoming anxiety. Pramila, yes, to overcome the anxiety, there are a lot of tools from Ayurveda and yoga you can take. You know, there is a very good Panchakosh meditation with the understanding of chanting Om. If you chant Om with the 3 syllables, A, U, and Ma, where you there is a very good technique and a process. If you would like to connect with me, I can help you chant the way or show you the technique. And it should be the A coming from your umbilical cord, U as a O coming from your heart, and you close your lips, Ma, M coming from the brain waves. It has been a research that the cognitive alpha, beta, gamma brain waves get stimulated and your anxiety or your depression gets down. So you can definitely try that one. Okay.
okay. All right. So that's wonderful talk. So if there is any other questions, otherwise we can interact a bit. So you were giving information about Garbha Vidya, quite a bit of information, and I think Garbha Vidya could be a good course for people, because I think right now people, because being the autistic month, people have a lot of I mean, we can see a lot of autistic kids. It's gone like booming like anything, especially when people traveling from the India to here, newly married, and they stay in Chennai or Hyderabad or Delhi, Mumbai, and they come here, and most of the kids, they have problems because they already, their parents moved to the city, and the kids move here, so there is a realistic problem. And here there is really a need for how psychologically Ayurveda is approaching the autism, right? And could you throw some light on? I recently gave a talk in app on autism. I just want to also know from your perspective the reason, because it is autism month. We wanted to just give a little bit of touch on there'll be other speakers also maybe next few weeks, but can you throw some idea about like the connection between autism and Garbha Vidya?
There is a connection. See, autism is basically a vata disorder, or also it could be a disorder where in Ayurveda there are a lot of diseases that they are considered under the previous life karma diseases as well. Okay, so on the autism phase, it's very important how the mother has behaved while she was pregnant or while getting the conception. There is a whole theory behind Sushruta and Charaka, and as well as other Samhitas elaborately talk about the Garbhini Paricharya. Okay, so Garbhini Paricharya is very impactful. How she should walk, what she should wear, what she should eat, what are the every month's regime, starting from even it has been explained not only when, which level which level the heartbeat comes or everything. It is also explained. It is also explained that it is also explained that the bone and the brain while developing buddhi comes in the 6 months. So while learning those developments and happening the way the prakruti gets decided for that unborn child, there are many other factors has been explained. So this is a very good point that you are asking, that how the garbhadhan sanskar or other sanskars given for the pregnancy that affects the autism. The second thing is, after the child born, autism is explained in Kashyapa as a graha chikitsa. Okay, there are more than 80 types of graha chikitsas and different types of daive vyapashre chikitsas or graha chikitsas has been explained, and there is a lot of research in that as well.
Okay, wonderful. We cannot understand everything in one day. It's a vast. You have been educated in this field for a long time. I think with the kind of knowledge that we all possess in the Ayurvedic Siddha tradition in India, I think the world really needs to come forward. And I'm very surprised if people are asking ordinary questions from India. The reason it's like really, what can I say? It's like whom should we blame? I mean, there's nobody to blame. The government. Can we blame the government? Government is just people. We are people. Can we? The past. Anyways, it is all our karma only. It doesn't matter. I think if we did not get it, but it's a high time right now, and it is don't be. I think you should take this forward. Respect our ancient science, and we should practice. We should make use of the ancient siddhas. I mean the acharyas and vaidyas. The reason, if you do not utilize, it is going to be educated to you from the West, and you will have to give millions of dollars and spend that time. So instead, why don't you respect and take this forward? Take this forward as the education. This is going to be the 21st century education. There is no doubt about it. It is going to be, and it is like how yoga is being very famous. To that level, it's coming. But it's not going to be just going to be like a what you call, like how yoga is famous, but like authentic yoga cannot be famous. You have to learn from the right kind of people. Similarly, you shouldn't allow Ayurveda to happen. So that's one of the key thing that you have to note, that how you're going to learn and what methods, how do you protect this knowledge. All these things are very important for people. So I wanted to just share this with everyone so that you really understand that how much lack of, not just you or including me, it took a long time for me to understand like Ayurveda Siddha, because I was practicing Kundalini Yoga for 30 years, and with the same Kundalini people, they did not believe in Ayurveda or Siddha, even though the master was a Siddha and Ayurveda doctor. But when we followed that, we only followed a guru, whatever they thought. And this, we should come out of this. First thing, you should learn this, see the connection. If you see the connection between, then you can find that everything is connected. Our ancient science is completely integrated. And now Dr. Dhanada's, I can see her resume, a lot of things. She has done the Vastu, right? Astrology, all these things, she can connect everything. She sees the connection. That's why she's able to explain things from different perspective. And this perspective is needed, right? And recently, I was looking at a resume. So for some other purpose, we're doing some collaborations. So that time, what I could find is that it is full. This resume is the fulfilling resume for the world, because you cannot put a better resume than this. Only using ancient science. I have seen thousands of resumes. I helped so many people in different things, but when you see, most of them will be like, including myself, we will have a modern degree and we'll be doing ancient kind of stuff. But her is completely ancient degree. Everything is an ancient degree. Okay, so this is what we need to have in our own schools, but very unfortunate, is not happening. And therefore, don't wait for somebody else. We do it. I mean, we need to bring it. And with the help of all people, so we wanted to set up a university basically on ancient science, because we have ancient science. There are universities for Ayurveda, Siddha, indigenously. They have, in a college, Ayurveda college is there. But there is no college for example, independently. There is no Vastu college, because Vastu, people do not believe in Vastu, right? And even people do not believe in Ayurveda. If we talk about any philosophical stuff, such as even the Vata Pittaka, Ayurveda means people, some of them believe that, like, whatever is evidence based, like the Western way, that is only Ayurveda. This is a very wrong concept. Both are, this science is constructed very differently, and you should, because of the lack of knowledge, you underestimate this, and therefore you are thinking that your logical means Western logical is science. So that's wrong. First of all, you check this out. So like Dr. Dhanada was talking about, the evolution itself, from the beginning of the universe, the whole thing came up. That's why we have Panchabhutas in our body, and the whole Panchabhuta combination is only the Ayurveda, Siddha. So you need to understand this very clearly, and once you understand this, we are only that. We evolved, the living consciousness is with this combination of this Prakriti, and we are ourselves, the consciousness, and this is a root of finding our consciousness by being in treating the medicines and all the balancing and everything is just a game of consciousness. There's nothing else. Why do we get disease or hunger? Everything is a drama. But with this drama only we can live. The drama doesn't exist, we cannot live. So what do you say, Dr. Dhanada?
See, in Upanishads, they said, Mana eva hi karanam sukha dukkha yoho. Huh? So it is your mind that is your enemy, or that is your friend. And your dukkha and your sukha, ahit, you are going to eat wholesome diet or unwholesome diet. It is only given to the humankind. one time I remember Desikacharya's talk. He said a human can only do vegetarian, non-vegetarian thing. A tiger cannot come tomorrow with saying enough of meat, I'm going to become vegetarian, you know. Or elephant cannot say that enough of vegetables, I want to become non-vegetarian. It is us that we have been blessed with the consciousness, and that is why it is most our responsibility to install these Vedic sciences to the modern world, that they are just getting their looking human race as animal, as another animal, you know. So to bring that insight is on everybody's shoulder who is here attending as science expert or speak for that science. I would say and this is a basic act, a basic human instinct to do kalyanam for other humankind. Like animals, if you see the animals, they always go in the herd. They always have their own community themselves together. You won't find any animal alone, or you won't find any animal selfish for themselves. We have to raise ourselves, not only the individual consciousness, but the all universal level consciousness. And because of this pandemic, it is started somewhere. The God has given us the chance to look us back, uh, pause for a year and see where we are. Look, it says Atma Nirikshan Swadhyayam Ma Pramatha. You have to do your own Swadhyay, where you stand. And that Swadhyay is actually the lesson from Bhagavad Gita or Ayurveda, or even doing Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa, is to look into yourself as a conscious animal. No, well said.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So I think there's a lot of knowledge. I think we should consider giving a course as we discussed earlier. So some extended course for the group would be really, I think, that people would be looking for with the kind of knowledge that you have. And it could be like even a extended 3-month course or something, on different areas. And especially people, some of them were asking for Garbha Vidya, that technique before and after, getting prepared for, the baby making process, pre-Garbha or whatever you call it, right?
It's called Garbhodhan Sanskar. It is
Garbhodhana Samskar. Okay.
Sanskar.
Right. Sanskar. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, so these are some things, that really people would be excited, and we really need to somehow we are having a challenge here. Even simply marketing Ayurveda is difficult here. It's becoming. Now we need to, specifically on a specialization topic, we need to now market it. So there is a real challenge here, and that's why we need the help of people, and you allow people to, spread this knowledge, tell them, to attend this 10 days, 20 days, if they keep continue to attend this thing, then they easily get the knowledge. They don't really have to really, do many things to read and things like that. They listen, and easily one day they will capture the core concept, and then later on you can do the references, etc. Okay, so we have, a lot of things, like you were one of the things what Vallalar is a sage scientist, Siddha sage scientist, who talks about, when it comes to Garbha Vidya, he talks about the father carries the child for 2 months before it comes to the mother. So this may be a new concept, like but the whole idea changes how it happens. He explains how it happens, right, and why, and all the is integrated. How the rain is, even the rain is helping. Even the rain is helping for baby, right? For some things to happen, even that person need to drink that kind of a water there. And so without our knowledge, we'll be doing that. So all these, they were able to connect, our sage scientists, they are able to link everything and connect this, right? Such deep knowledge is there. But now we need to, when you integrate everything, it's a 360-degree. There is no other knowledge than this. So we need to take this. Definitely, we need a better way of taking this forward. But at the same time, we need to protect our knowledge also. Just taking and throwing it out is also not going to work. And because you're not going to treat this well, people have to respect this. And when you are spending your money for something else, I would rather spend the funds or whatever you have, donations, etc., to learning this. It is bigger than donations, I would say, because here you're donating to our own ancient system. People are teaching you, they're giving out, and at the same time we are protecting our traditional knowledge, because you can become an expert tomorrow, because this is through root. You have in Danda was talking about, you have it in your DNA, right? So when you are a DNA, you can easily tune it, and then we can, it easily, you can trigger that, and nobody will have that knowledge like others cannot have. For example, you know how to make rasam. It's a secret for you. You know how to modify if something happens, but other person who learns from you, who is new in the other, from other country, they won't be able to do it, right? That's not possible. But you know how to modify different things to get different kind of benefits. So that's the advantage for you. And I suggest everybody to support this kind of knowledge, right? And take this forward. So with here we can conclude. But I just wanted to thank Dr. Dhanada for your wonderful time. Okay, and your information I will share in all the WhatsApp group, and you please
Thank you.
provide, and we'll also share a flyer for everyone for all the with the details. And we definitely, you wanted to contact us for any program, like any Ayurveda Siddha doctors, we can guide you. There's not a problem. There are a lot of, now thousands, there are at least this is 720
Mhm.
doctors they're practicing in the United States, right? So
Yeah.
it's a vast group. But you wanted to find simply randomly, you cannot go, and some experience is needed. People need to guide you. They need to really, not just for making money, they really need to solve your problem, because you just don't want to shift from one person to another person and then you blame on Ayurveda. I have seen a lot of people in the Ayurvedic, even in the Ayurvedic community, they call them Ayurvedic doctors, but they all very money minting mentality, and then you're gone. Then next you have to refill and other things, kind of Western way. That's not going to help you. So you want authentic people, and I deal with at least with authentic people only. Otherwise, we don't connect with people, right? So you can connect. So we'll share the flyer, and one of the courses that we will discuss and let you know, and people to understand that course, you can contact us. Okay, all right. So support us. We have other courses too. We have Varma Adimure course that's going on. We have art therapy. Varma Adimure is ancient martial arts. Lot of interest. Amazing. There are some exercises in that, right? They are really, really great exercises, and everybody can do this. Young people, there is no martial arts in the world. All martial arts came from Varma Adimurai. Remember this, because I am looking at my kids are doing taekwondo kind of thing, but I know where they're doing mistakes also right now after learning the Varma Adimurai, right? But there are people, you can learn many things that, and you know that these roots, everything, many things, 90% of things, like the scientific thing, came from India. Those days, the people used to tell this, and I never believed those. And today, after becoming a scientist in Harvard, and after doing all kind of research, then I figured out what they were telling is truth. Even our calendar came from India. All medicine, including surgery, came from India. Okay, like Sushruta, we have also in the south, we have Therayar. Agatyar did a surgery. Therayar was the one who gave the idea. It's a brain surgery. So that's the first time you see the connection between the nose and the brain. Do Shirodha. So the opening, so that is so please mute people, okay. All right, so okay, so therefore I would suggest you to take this course. That's the ongoing class, so easily you can attend. And then it's not a course, these are classes. I'm talking about course is different. So classes like art therapy, Carnatic music, we have all the ancient science areas, we have classes, you can attend that. And then I'm teaching now Varma femtoneurobiology, that's the Varma femtoneurobiology and psychoneuroimmunology. Here the connection between, the doctor was talking about the psychotherapy. So I am going to discuss this psychotherapy from a neurological perspective, which is using not a modern science. I'm not touching modern science. I'm talking about ancient Siddha psychology using the Varmakalai parameters, which include the Nadi system, Nadi and the Varmas. So that will be very, very deep science, where you will understand the Panchabhuta is the fundamental. What is happening in the dances of Panchabhuta is what the whole thing is. All is happening inside us only. Whole universe is inside us. So when you understand that, fear will disappear, because who is doing all this is the God consciousness inside us. So when these kind of beautiful things are happening inside us, what is there to fear in this life? We don't have anything to fear. It is taken care by itself. Only we need to understand that we are that consciousness. Okay. So with this note, I would we want to conclude this session on time. So thank you so much for the wonderful talk. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.